Okay, thank you very much. Mira, yeah, if you don't mind, can you let me share my PowerPoint? So I would like to share my PowerPoint. So give me, okay. So first of all, yeah, thank you very much for invitation of give me invitation of this very prestigious project indeed. And also, sorry about that. I could not make the draft paper, but we're kind of at the moment writing up some further fill up for the data sets. So actually, I'm going to explain one by one. So the updates of the paper. So I would not be late by the internal review. So hopefully we can. I would like to share my draft by the mid December. So actually maybe 20th December latest. So well, I think is when I listening to the Leiwi's presentation, I think is she emphasized the narrative as a very important element as the connectivity. So our focus of the public diplomacy is narratives about the EU's in light of the EU-Asia connectivity. So I would like to. So I think throughout the last this year, so since the first workshop, then up to present, I had some updates about the EU's strategic narratives in terms of academic articles. So I think I can add up more onto the literature review part about how this the EU try to address the narrative strategies in light of this. So, but I think it's the most challenging part of the EU connectivity strategy. It partially applied to the Belt and Road Initiative China. They don't know what is the narratives in there. So actually narratives consider is very much important in terms of identification of the actors. So in this paper, we would like to address the EU's importance and EU's activeness, EU's identification in the strategic narratives of the regarding EU-Asia connectivity. So I added some more qualitative analysis in addition to the semantic network analysis. So throughout this semantic network analysis, I'm going to show the broader picture of the EU-Asia connectivity like this. Then we can kind of see the blueprint of the how EU shows the general picture of the EU strategic narratives. And we will move on to the framing analysis and narrative analysis given by the two, one communication scholars and one IR scholars. And then we're going to talk about the framings regarding the conflict, human interest, responsibility, economic consequences, and morality. And we will do another qualitative analysis to find out what type of the narratives the European Union is using. So, and I would like to extend the further data collections up to the end of this year. So December 2020, I'm going to add some more items and policy papers from European Commission, Council, Parliament, and external actions up to next 8 months. So I'm going to complete these period from January 2014 to December 2020. So I'm going to have the almost 7 years of the policy paper produced in the European Commission, Council, Parliament, and external actions. So we will do 3 different type of the analysis: quantitative, and 2 qualitative analysis. So I think there will be some increase in 2020 probably. So hopefully we can have some more policy paper regarding this. If we kind of have the similar number with the 2019, and probably even though they have the similar number, but they didn't produce much paper on Europe-Asia connectivity. So I think we need to kind of, me and Professor Yoon need to think more carefully. So what is the implication of the not producing more policy papers, but you can guess probably it's because of the COVID-19 and all other possible challenges to the EU. The EU's manpower is shifted to dealing with other type of the challenges. So, and also our preliminary discussion results presentation, according to the frame analysis and narrative analysis. And I was able to find out the EU is focusing on the morality framework, morality frames. So they kind of the emphasizing the importance of the EU as a legitimate actor. Sorry about, I think I need to enlarge this so it's not well visible. Yeah, can you see better? Will be much better. Okay, well, sorry about that. It was not reader friendly. And I was kind of very interesting to find out the cases of the regional security issues and further up to Korean Peninsula and Rohingya crisis in Myanmar and the Middle East. So actually they kind of emphasize the morality framings to the EU is a possible actor of the corporations with Asia to deal with their problems. So actually they're kind of the moral perspective, then can boost up the connectivity with Asia. So I think the EU is trying to emphasize the value. So actually its importance in the global society. And also they kind of not the mere economic partners, but also the political and security cooperation. So actually, this is kind of the big change we found so far from these policy papers. So when we look at these type of three different type of the narratives we found. So the Europe-Asia connectivity is dealing with the identity narratives. So actually they were kind of the economic visions and reflection papers. So actually EU's values, and also they emphasize the corporations. So they kind of appealing their identity within the global system. I think is that this is probably connected to the further cooperation with other Asian partners. But I think recently when I'm looking at the EU-Asia connectivity issues, I found very interesting to see the EU and Vietnam relation has been really kind of closer together than ever. So when I follow the European Union in Vietnam, they recently done the FTA, EV-FTA, and also they promote their education more actively than EU delegation to Korea. So I also follow EU delegation to Korea and Facebook page, but also for the Vietnamese people, they kind of emphasize Europe as a destination for further education. So they also they kind of not only an impressive interaction between the EU and Vietnam is not only with the economic connection, but also with the culture connections. And also, I think I think I need to look at more detail about the why Vietnam chose European Union rather than China. So probably there will be some issues about South China Sea issues and possible further conflicts. But I think when some Asian partners supports the Europe-Asia connectivity. So this will be kind of the very much good promotion points. And also EU should test its legitimacy connectivity. So our kind of the rough suggestion for the European Union, they not only need to use the ASEM as a process, but also they need to approach the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, SPEAC, centered in India, and also Trilateral Cooperation Secretariat in China, Korea, and Japan, so CJK. So actually EU should diversify its destination to promote its connectivity. But I think approaching China would not be that easy, but it would be challenging. But I think the EU or China can share their connectivity plan. I think it's a very naive approach, I think, but I think that we need to discuss with my co-author about the possibility of approaching this. And also, crisis management cooperation might be very useful in the time of this. So we also changed lots of the crises and challenges are diversified. So we have the crisis management can be the good mechanism to promote their narratives, and which leads to public diplomacy. And that's all for my presentation. And once again, I really apologize about not providing the text, and hopefully we can sort this out as soon as we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Chung, for your interesting presentation. Colleagues, friends, do you have any comments? So Professor Chung is using kind of a new methodology with this semantic network analysis and so on. So probably the traditional methodology people may have some questions or some comment. Sebastian, please.
Yeah, thank you, Sae Won, for your presentation, for your paper. Well, yes, for your presentation. And what struck me as quite stimulating is that you somehow concluded with regard to the role of ASEM quite differently from what Lei Hui has just said. Mm-hmm. You said that the EU should actually engage more actively with ASEM when it comes to connectivity, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas Lei Hui stated that the EU is actually shaping connectivity within the ASEM process. That does not necessarily contradict, this is not necessarily a contradiction. However, what are your thoughts here? Are there, is that, in how far is this related? That is the intra-ASEM dynamics on the one hand and the supra EU-Asia dynamics on the other hand?
Mm-hmm. So, I think the Lei Hui's, I think it is very much like an extension from the Lei Hui suggestion, I think. And also when I look into the connectivity related literature, they usually say the Europe-Asia connectivity is kind of the revised version of ASEM connectivity. So I think probably the Lei Hui wants to upgrade. The Lei Hui suggestion could be in the geopolitical sense, the ASEM connectivity can be really kind of another, I think it should focus on the ASEM, but my intention to address is ASEM is kind of the default connection channel. As ASEAN is usually centered in the Southeast Asia. So within in between China and India, but I think my impression about the Asia-Europe connectivity, they need to invite more partners. For cases of India, so actually India doesn't show the preferable opinions toward the Chinese BRI, the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative, because of their concerns. So India officially announced that it is not going to support the China's project. So I think it will be much helpful for the European Union to approach not only with the existing channels, but diversify the channels. So I mean, I think I need more study to kind of differentiate between the Lei Hui's point and my point. But I think I will take a look at more in detail for further explanations. Hopefully, it should be answered from your question. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anna, please.
Yeah, thank you very much for your paper one. I have a question a little bit relating to your data and your methodology. You survey 6 years or 7 years even. I just wonder how do you attempt to measure a development within that period, or you know, is it possible to survey a development?
Okay, thank you very much, Anna. About you're talking about the semantic network throughout the years possible. We can kind of chop it down as a terminology. But I think is framing the period. I think we need to find out some history making event. But I think the EU-Asia connectivity is the new initiative after in 2018. I think we can kind of briefly chop it down before connectivity, so period of ASEM connectivity, and after 2018 will be EU connectivity. I think we can compare that about the semantic networks to how these framework has been changed, and could be kind of the more doable changes. So thank you very much, Anna. So yeah, I would apply your comments.
Colleagues, further comments or questions? Sae Won, I have one question. If you take a look at the period of data collection, it's January 2014 to March 2020. And the Europe-Asia connectivity was announced in September 2018. And we can understand that in the year 2019, the policy activities to promote this initiative from the European Union might have been the strongest, and it's well documented in the high number of policy documents or policy announcements made in the year 2019, 46. But I wonder, what did the European Union do? I mean, the three institutions, Council, Parliament, and Commission do in the first 3 months of this year. I mean, because you collected data for the 3 months of this year, and there were only 2 counts. Whereas the monthly average for 2019 was about 4, right? But in the entire 3 months, from January, February, March, there were only 2 counts. So it's a really very small and very shrinked activity. Was it influenced by COVID-19?
Okay. It's really kind of becoming the buzzword of these days, and due to the coronavirus. So I think when we I had the very lucky enough to have a presentation on EU disinformation regarding the COVID-19. So actually the EU used its resources to tackle with the coronavirus in terms of the fundings, and also the European people in the European Commission, they kind of presented how they support the vaccines and all others. I think it's these manpower shifted to deal with the crisis management. So I think the Europe-Asia connectivity kind of pushed a little bit sideways than the connectivity seems like. But I cannot tell you at the moment, Professor Park. If I collect more data up to January this year, then our assumption can be more clarified. So if it's kind of about 20 papers or less, then we can conclude it is possibly because of the coronavirus. So actually every policy. Okay, yeah.
So because you have already your presentation at hand now, could you show the semantic network?
Okay. So
you had 90 counts, right? And how can you explain this semantic network? Because I would be quite interested in interpreting this semantic network you have presented now.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Park. So semantic network analysis is talking about the groupings of the certain words and salient within the text. But we don't have enough time to read all of the data. So actually the using program, we can summarize the interconnection of the word. We can make the groupings and show in the kind of the semantic network as a snapshot of the whole papers we read. And also, when we deal with some explanations, then I'm going to show you these groupings.
What I mean is, Sae Won, what I mean is, if you pick up one area here, colored green, EU-Japan cooperation, for instance, right? It's second from the top left, EU-Japan cooperation. And it's taking quite relatively big space. And it's much more space, taking much more space than other things on the right-hand side. So what does this mean, and how we can interpret that?
Okay, and so when we have the bigger areas, that means more words are connected according to the analytic software. And also on the right-hand side, you see there are some words of some dates, and also some connection between the word pairings. So actually they are not connected with each other. So actually these are the minor framings, I would tell you. And also this is kind of the more bigger framings in EU-Japan cooperation. But as Lewy papers at the end, then she mentioned the EU tried to have the cooperation with Japan in light of the connectivity. So I think they were kind of the more mentioned in the light of the ASEM here, that when you look at the core of the semantic network of the EU-Japan cooperation, you can see the ASEM. And also they consider European unions have the interaction with the minister, and also have some partners with the partnership between the European Union and Japan. And also Abe Shinzo was mentioned in the text. So actually we can say the main actors within specific areas of the framings. Then I think I can explain by the elements of the narratives. So who are the actors, what are the events, and how actions were taken. So I think we can approach one by one by talking about the narrative. So what type of the narratives were mentioned. And also I go into my data set to cite again of which specific policy paper were used in my data set. So I'm going to quote that accordingly. So
if you go to the left, you have a reflection paper towards a sustainable Europe by 2030. And how do you compare these two? I mean, in terms of the policy activity on EU-Asia connectivity. So is it the size that matters, or the connections, links of the words? And I would be very curious how you can draw some implications from this network analysis.
Okay. Thank you very much. The areas of the semantic network totally depends on how many words are connected in a cluster. So it means a bigger area, that means have a possibility of have more connections, and also number of the word pairs are guaranteed according to this this area. So at least I can tell at the moment I can tell you that the areas that usually say the main theme, so salient theme throughout all the policy paper used in the put in the analytic software. And also, when we think about these events one by one, then we cannot kind of, in order to explain more about the importance within the frames, I think I can add some values like the weight weight values which automatically calculated from the software that we can provide.
My question, yes, my question and comment is, are you confident enough to draw enough implications, substantive implications from this analysis?
In order to do that,
I mean, what I mean is, if this chart figure stands alone, that's meaningless, right? So you have to be able to draw some implications for the connectivity issue. And is this methodology guaranteeing that?
Okay, thank you very much. So in order to supplement the explanation on the semantic network, so I would like to use the framing analysis supported. The qualitative analysis should go together. So to explain the significance of these framings. So if I kind of use semantic network alone, as you mentioned, it would not be kind of the significant. So in order to supplement the semantic network, then I can do, I would like to add two different type of the analysis attached to this semantic network, framings and narrative analysis. So it is not kind of the standalone basis. I will add qualitative analysis to make it flourish.
So
okay,
friends,
Professor?
Please understand this was the questions sent by very beginner for this kind of analysis. Okay. Any other comments or questions? Right. If based on our schedule, we could have now some break of about 15 minutes. Do you agree? 15 minutes, and let's meet again at 6:30 in Korea, and 6:20 in Korea, and 10:20 in Europe. Is it okay? Thank you.